Okay. Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here today with Zhadyra Aitenova. I had the wonderful opportunity to work with her as her research supervisor. My name is CohenMiller, and I am a faculty member in the Graduate School of Education at Nazarbayev University. So today we're just going to have a chat, and Zhadyra is going to tell us a bit about her experience as a teacher and her process of doing autoethnographic research, actually the first autoethnography in Kazakhstan. So Zhadyra, thanks so much for being here. Can you tell us, so you were a teacher for many years, right? And that led you into this topic.
Yes, thank you very much. And I'm so pleased to be able to share what I did. So I'm also an English teacher. I'm from Kazakhstan and I have been teaching for 10 years. I had experience of working both in the village school and as well as in the elite school. Also, I finished the master's program, yeah. And so I have been, why I decided, to do this research, because currently the teacher status in our country is low, and I was so passionate about exploring more about this profession, to give value to this profession. And I was enthusiastic about this topic because all my family members are teachers, including me. And I decided that I am able to share my voice with the help of my stories, to tell about teaching in social and cultural context. So
That's great.
this was the main rationale.
Thank you. Right. So you really, I could see this passion in you to help improve, as you're saying, the status of teachers, and you come from a long history of teachers and you wanted to make a difference in the country, which you really are. And so as you mentioned about stories, I want to follow up on that. And so let's see. All right. So in this next slide then, I have an excerpt, right, from one of your stories. Can you tell us about how you came upon these stories, and this one in particular? What is this from? And then you could read it to us, perhaps.
Yes, and before writing this story, of course, what I was inspired by CohenMiller's book, where she described about how to conduct evocative autoethnography, which permits the researcher to be the participant and where the story plays the prominent role, rather than the analysis of the story. So eventually I have written 4 stories about the way how I became a teacher. So all these 4 stories actually help me to understand how I constructed my teacher identity. So all of them are about teacher identity. And this is the first story about, so I can read this excerpt. As usual, he begins his lesson with a phonetic drill, explaining grammar and follow-up exercises. Today, we are learning to pronounce the sound a. Repeat after me. Cat, mat, sat, sat. Then writes down on the blackboard. A black cat sat on a mat and ate a fat bread. We are repeating after him. Okay, dear students, let's start from a homework. I say with my loud, childish voice. Who's on duty today? What date is it today? I am on duty today, says clearly Villa. So in this story, this was just an excerpt. You can see that a little girl, is a teacher, and this was me. Long time ago, when I was a schoolgirl, my first English teacher trusted me. I don't know if he did it intentionally. He asked me to replace him and be a teacher, and even he left the classroom, and I had to replace. And this was the first moment where I realized that I was proud of this moment to be a teacher. And probably this person motivated me to be a teacher, and this was the first time my teacher identity was constructed. So that was it.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I was just saying, wow, right? That you're going back into such depth and using the process of writing these narratives in really in a way that you were so willing, right, and courageous.
Yes, and in this story, you can see that I tried to emulate my teacher, because at that moment, they used a different teaching model. They used this phonetic drill, yeah, and it was teacher-based, teacher-centered, and then I tried to emulate his voice, yeah, trying to repeat this phonetic drill. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for sharing about that. So that was your first story, as you were saying. So this was an unexpected even teaching experience during primary school. And so then your other three stories came about. What was your process in deciding when those came up?
Yeah, that was really interesting. And I don't know why I decided to write 4 stories, but I think it depended on that moment, on my condition and the state when I tried to recall all my memories related to teaching. And as you can see, it's written in a chronological manner. So first, when I was a teacher, a little teacher, and then my first day of teaching, and then how I applied the undergraduate program, why I chose this profession, and this critical review where I'm discussing this current situation that I'm already a teacher. So these stories will include this intimate, evocative, close, and these moments, yeah, that are related. That moment, I'm teacher today. Yeah, I'm a teacher. So these are the stories. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And so then thinking about this analysis, then I'm going to go back to this previous slide. Maybe you can read a little bit of, or tell us a bit about this narrative analysis technique and this is a conversation, right? That you're having with a character, with a dialogue with yourself, as you had said at one point.
Yes, and I again want to acknowledge Carolyn Ellis' book about writing lives and telling stories. So this evocative autoethnography permits researcher to write evocative stories and analyze it using a narrative analysis technique, blended analysis, yeah, and it permits you to analyze it in a creative way. And in this sense, I analyzed the story using a dialogue where the character of the dialogue was me. So I was apparently talking to myself, and it helped me to analyze it more intimately, closely. It's actually a very painful moment, and it's not. So I found out that it's not as easy as I think. And yeah, I can see that. Well, the story actually happened a long time, many years ago, but I analyzed it from my perspective now, from the where I'm already a teacher. So these are all mentioned in Carolyn's book. So that's it.
Great, thank you very much. So would you like to read a couple sentences, or we can move on?
Well, I could read, but
okay,
have time.
Maybe a couple sentences, and then yes, then we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thanks, Zhadyra.
Okay, so well, I can read some fragments. So let's go back to your first English teacher. How did he influence you? So this is one of the characters of the dialogue. It's me. So this was my first English teacher, and who raised a great motivation and passion for the language to become an English teacher. Certainly, I have had different English teachers since that time, but my first teacher will stay in my heart forever because he was a great teacher, mediator, mentor, motivator for me. Also, he's a very honest and responsible person. So here, in this dialogue, you can see that I was talking to myself and trying to explain from my lens, I would say.
Thank you. It's very helpful to see this process and to be taken into your, really the process, right? The step-by-step that you went through. And so finally then, could you tell us a bit about what you found, right? And so we have this slide up, which you're welcome to read, or if you just want to talk about what you found in general in terms of teacher identity.
Yes, and my research again confirmed the literature review that I did, and the teacher identity is actually constructed from personal experiences, professional context, and external political environment, and all of these things were written in the stories and my analysis. And this teacher identity is always changing and evolving, and as teachers we have to understand that. And this teacher identity actually can be helpful and can be used as a political tool to change educational progress. to change the professional context and to understand to become a better teacher. So I call and encourage all the teachers to be reflective and to love their professions.
Great. Thank you so much, Zhadyra. It has really been an honor to work with you over these years and get the chance to see you shine both in your city, in Kazakhstan as a whole, across the university, and now internationally. Is there any last thing that you would like to say?
Oh, thank you very much. It was a great honor to share my voice with all of you.
Thank you. Now we'll go ahead and end the recording.